going on, everybody? What's happening? What's shaking? What's doing? Welcome to episode, 364 McRae Live. The date today is Thursday, November the 6th, 2011, 2:06 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And today, we are discussing Scream 7. The official trailer dropped the other day. Veda was asleep behind me on the couch, and as soon as I started yelling, she got up and left. She knows what's happening. Come on, Veda, get in here. Veda's my cat, by the way, in case anybody doesn't know. But yeah, Scream 7 trailer drop. We're going to talk about it, all things Scream today. What did you think of it? Was it what you expected? Does it make you more excited for Scream 7 coming in February? What is the situation? Are you excited? Are you not excited? I don't know. Hey, everybody, what's going on? Episode 364 of McRae Live. So, yeah, Scream 7 trailer dropped, what was it, a few days ago now? And last Thursday, a week ago, I guess it was, right? A week ago? It was last Thursday, I think it was. And so I've watched it several times. And for me, and I'm sure there are others that are like this, for me, I'm a feeler. And so whenever I watch a trailer once, unless it's obvious to me, I'm not looking for details. I'm not looking for, symbolism and cinematic language. I'm not looking for, I'm not necessarily looking in the background at certain things or who's wearing what sweater and how many times. For me, because I'm all about that feeling and that tone and mood and atmosphere, especially when it comes to horror films, of course. For me, when a trailer first hits and it's instinctual, I've always been this way. How does it make me feel? How does it make me feel? What do I feel when I watch this trailer? When the trailer is done, what am I left with? How did I feel, right? And the feeling I got when I watched this trailer, excuse me, was it surprised me at actually how, and this doesn't necessarily mean the movie's going to be like this. And again, I'm not the world's, biggest Scream expert. I mean, my favorite is the original, and then I could take or leave the rest, to be honest with you. But as I've said many times, the Scream franchise, for better or worse, is one of the most consistent. I mean, they've yet to have a Halloween Resurrection or a Freddy's Dead, Maybe that'll be Scream 7. I don't know. But if Scream 3 is your worst in the franchise, you're doing pretty good. Even if Scream 6, which some people didn't like, even if Scream 6 is your worst in the franchise, I mean, it's like Shakespeare and I mean, it's the Shawshank Redemption compared to Freddy's Dead. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, if that's your worst, you're doing pretty good. But so what did I feel? How did it make me feel? And then when I watch a trailer for a second or third time, I start to focus in on the nuances. I start to focus in, okay, what exactly am I looking at, right? What are the trailer? I don't know who cut it. Obviously, a lot of the times there are several trailer houses that are cutting Hollywood films. Sometimes it's internal, but and they're competing for which one it's going to be. But this trailer, how did it make me feel? This is the one that was approved. This is the one they wanted to put out there. How did it make me feel? And at the end, I thought to myself, it felt very serious. That was the first word that came out of my mouth when I talked about it. It felt serious. It didn't feel like a Scream trailer. I mean, if Ghostface wasn't in it, right, it could play like some serious thriller. If you just take the mask off of him and put some, I don't know, a ski mask on him, it plays like just a serious thriller. I didn't feel the meta. Again, first watch, the feeling. right? I didn't feel the, everybody's a suspect, like they're kind of having fun. They're poking fun, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, boo, 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 boo. I didn't feel that whimsy, that whimsical kind of thing that the earlier Scream films had, and some of the marketing had too. There's always a bit of a wink and a nudge when it comes to Scream, even in the marketing. I didn't feel that here at all. The feeling felt very serious. It didn't feel like a Scream trailer. Whether that's good or bad, I don't know. Whether you agree with that, I don't know. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. I don't know. I'm just talking about myself. This is how I felt. I'm not the world's biggest Scream fan, so I don't know what I was expecting, but it felt very serious. I didn't see or feel a lot of the, what we know Scream to be. Now, it's the first trailer. There will be others. The film comes out in February. There'll be promo spots and, TV, the second trailer and the international trailer. There's going to be other stuff, and maybe that's where we'll see it. But I didn't feel like, it just felt serious. It felt like, oh, this isn't, this is like I kind of felt like, what's his face from Spider-Man? You serious? You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like, you're being serious. Now maybe that's a good thing. Because I have, and I don't want to, I know others have felt this way, but I think I was one of the first to say it. Because I've been saying it for about 4 or 5 years. Just saying. I've always wanted Scream to end on a cliffhanger. Not saying this movie's going to, but I've always wanted that because it's different. And some people have said, well, you can't do that because of the whodunit nature. You always have to find out who did it at the end. Well, yes, that's true, but you just extend the story. So instead of telling a story over one movie, you tell the story over 2 movies. You're still going to find out who did it. You just have to wait till the second movie. I've always wanted that. Probably not going to get it ever. But one of the reasons why I wanted that was because it was different. It didn't change the DNA, didn't ruin the Scream DNA, but it was different. And it, kind of put people on their toes a little bit. Oh, it's kind of serious. Shit just got real. It's kind of how I felt watching this trailer. Nev looks great. Shout out to Nev Campbell, of course, fellow Canadian. She's from Guelph, Ontario, Canada, which is only about 40 minutes from me. She looks great. It's good to see her back. This has to do with her daughter, which I get it. What I wonder, though, is in Scream 5, and Scream fans, you can help me. Help me out here, because I do need your help on this one. In Scream 5, when we were first introduced to her, was she not pushing a stroller? Was that not her kid in the stroller? Or was that somebody else's kid? Was she babysitting? Does she have an older daughter and then a younger little kid? I mean, it's possible. Very rare nowadays, but from my generation, it's possible. I mean, my mother had my sister in 1964, and then I wasn't born until 1979. 2 brothers in between that time, too. But my sister is 15 years older than me. You don't usually see that kind of thing anymore. Parents today are usually waiting later and having them closer together. But she had multiple kids, says Troll Campbell. Multiple kids. Yeah, she's walking around a lake or something with a stroller. And so, thank you, Davey. So that I don't think that's the daughter. I mean, we haven't jumped 18 years into the future. So clearly, of course, she has multiple kids, but this tells me that the age between those kids has to be quite substantial. Unless maybe it's got to be at least you'd imagine 10 years. I mean, let's say the kid in the stroller was 2 and her daughter that we're going to see in Scream 7 in Scream 5 was 12. So it's 10 years older. And then this happening now is like 5 years later. So now she's like 17, 18. Totally. But there's got to be at least, like, that's not her daughter in the stroller. So there's got to be a bit of an age gap, maybe from different marriages, maybe. I don't know. Do you want to go down that road? I don't know. Just something I thought of when I was watching. I was like, yeah. Having it be her daughter totally makes sense. But then I was like, wasn't she just pushing a stroller like yesterday? Anyway, so that's kind of interesting. What else? Trailers are often, I see people analyzing the trailer, and trailers are often difficult to analyze because when you're cutting a trailer, some trailers are very linear and they are cut. You get exactly what you expect when you watch a trailer. But with high profile films like Star Wars, Scream, Halloween, films that they kind of want you to think something but isn't, they will have dialogue over scenes that dialogue doesn't match the scene. They will edit scenes together that, they'll edit shots together where somebody will go like this, say something like this, right? They'll turn to the camera like this. And then the next shot you see in the trailer is a guy going, that's right. Now you would think, so those two shots go together in the movie. Guy turns, looks at the other guy, and then the other guy's like, that's right. But then when you watch the movie, you find out those two shots are like 90 minutes apart from each other. That's because they bode well for the story and the narrative you're telling in the trailer, and those things happen all the time. Audio, I know because you hear Ghostface's voice, hello, right, throughout the course of the trailer, and some sort of reverb, stylized effect that is used very effectively, I might add. Some people have leaned into that thinking, what does that mean? Does that mean it's some sort of AI component and it could be this, it could be that, it could be this? Maybe, but that's not evidence of it. I think it's important to remember that, again, when you're creating trailers, you will use all the tools in your tool belt to stylize the marketing. And so the reverb hello that you hear, kind of muddy and under the kind of thing, it's cool, but it could mean absolutely nothing. And when you watch the trailer, it could not appear in there at all. And it's just a cool effect to help the emotional beats of the trailer, right? There's beats in a trailer, and there's a rhythm to the trailer. And so, and you're using that as a stylized way of transitioning. Right? Whatever the case is. Because it usually happens when you're transitioning. Even when, when Ghostface is, now this is just speculation on my part, but as an audio guy who works with audio, all the time, and I don't mean on YouTube, I mean professionally in my professional life. When I was listening to the trailer, I didn't notice it when I was listening off my monitors, but when I had the cans on, as they say, I was like, I wonder, it's when, because I could totally see them doing it. It's when Ghostface is stabbing the wall or about to or something. And I don't know if it's Nev or if it's her daughter. Something happens. I got to go back and watch it, but there's like a scream or a bit of a, whatever it is. And it kind of sounds like a hello. And it wouldn't surprise me if it was manipulated in post to sound a little bit like a hello. I'm not saying that is the case. It could be a little bit of what I call audio pareidolia, right? Pareidolia is, when you see a dog in the clouds and, it's like, it's not actually a dog. It's just your mind is, filling in and there's audio pareidolia as well. And so this could be audio pareidolia, but it would not surprise me if the sound engineer or the sound designer who mixed it, who designed it, would be like, oh, really good catch. Yeah, that's exactly what I was going for. But it's subtle, it's nuanced, and it's subtle. It's little. There's a rhythm to it, right? There's a rhythm. They know hello. I mean, that's the hello. I mean, that's like the Scream catchphrase. You know what I mean? You put Ghostface on a shirt. All you have to put there is hello. People know. They can hear it. They can hear it. Hello. You know what I'm saying? And so, little things like that. I think it's important that it's fun to analyze, but it's important to remember that a lot of that kind of thing could mean nothing because the job of a trailer is to especially a high-profile one, to stylize it in a way that has rhythm, that has, sparkle, that has a bit of pizzazz, without ruining the DNA of what you're, marketing, of course. You can't, completely like take the DNA out of it. But the muddy, reverbed hello that you hear a couple of it would not surprise me if you don't hear that ever again when you watch the trailer, or sorry, when you watch the film. Or maybe we'll find out it does mean something, and they're like, connecting the dots, red string on a bulletin board with 2 push pins. Maybe. But let's not put our heart on it. And so just a stylized way to help with the rhythm. So overall, I liked the trailer. I think what I liked most about it was it surprised me. It was unexpected. Not that I thought the trailer, like, the movie looked great. I don't think the movie looks bad. The trailer didn't make, I didn't go, oh my God, this looks fucking incredible. No, it just was, oh, this looks serious. Like, again, take Ghostface out, put a ski mask on him, and it just looks like I don't feel Scream. Other than Ghostface and hello. I mean, other than that, I'm not really, like, there isn't that whimsy there, that meta self-aware, yet. I mean, maybe that's coming in the second trailer or the TV spots. I don't know. But that was the first thing I noticed. And then, and I think probably the biggest thing for me, some people have said it feels like it takes place in the fall. Well, when her daughter is about to shoot through the wall, if you look on the wall, there's a calendar that says November. And so that might tell you right there that this isn't an October story. Maybe it's a November story, and it's taking place in the fall, which is, of course, as we know, Halloween aside, we know it's a great time of year. I mean, even the house on Port Robinson Road takes place in the fall. Now, that is also because the real story it's based on actually happened in November. So I wanted to keep true to that. But I could have told it at any time of year, if you think about it, right? Throughout the school year, I could have said it in March or April, But I kept it true to that because of the ambiance and the mood and the atmosphere. And so it's a great time of year, especially for horror movies. Moody, atmospheric films. Great time of year for that. And so it probably takes place in November, I'm assuming, because of the calendar. I don't know if you guys noticed that. These are some of the things that I was noticing when I went back and started watching it for, a little more detail. And then there's people picking it apart, of course, and saying certain shots look like fan films or something. And I'm just like, Jesus Christ, this is... there's just some people that should just not have a computer. I just, or a phone. And I'm just like, what are you like talk about? What are you talking about? It looks like a studio movie. What are you talking about? Sit down and shut up. Anyway, if that's you're not going to like that. But no, I thought it looked fine. I thought it looked like a Scream movie. That's the thing, is that there's nothing in the trailer I see. Oh, another thing too, I will say, and I did see, shout out to Drum Dum's Lee McCoy, I did see his post about this, and other people have, maybe because of your post, Lee, I'm not sure, or maybe they came to the conclusion on their own. I will say though that I disagree, I will say, which is a lot more fun than agreeing with everything, but Lee had made a post about how when the girl at the beginning falls, and he's having trouble believing that the fall wouldn't maybe kill, Ghostface, or, the knife. That seems a lot. I know it's a horror movie. I got to suspend my disbelief. And I think it was because of the height that she fell, right? The height that she fell. I looked at it again before I came on here, and I totally understand what you're saying. I will just add, I will say that we have to remember that she's not reaching terminal velocity. So she's not hitting him at 120 miles per hour. She is what looks to be about maybe 15, 20 feet. I don't think that would kill somebody. I don't think she would die if she hit the floor without anybody there. She might break a leg. She might break some ribs. I'm not saying you can't die from something like that if you were to land on your head. But to me, it's like jumping out of the second story or something, of a building. You know what I mean? Chances are you're going to survive. You may walk away. You may end up with, a broken leg. Landing on somebody, yeah, you're not landing on them, I get it. I understand it. But I think I would be totally on board if she was jumping off of a 10-story building and landing on Ghostface. I'd be like, yeah, that's like jumping off the railing, or not jumping off, but falling from the railing and the chandelier. It's a high ceiling. It's a high ceiling. But it's not 50 feet. The average, my ceilings down here are probably about 10 feet. You know what I mean? And then, so it might be another 5 feet above that, maybe another 10 feet above that. I'd say you're looking at maybe 15, 20 feet. For me, I think it is enough to suspend disbelief. It's enough to suspend disbelief. That's what I'll say to that. And of course, some people were comparing it to the television falling on Stu's head. I think a television, a heavy TV like that, I don't think it's necessarily the distance from which it falls, but the weight. I think falling 3 feet with that kind of weight is enough to kill somebody, especially being electrocuted at the same time. But these are movies, and these are fun to pick apart and look at. But I did see people talking about that, and I don't. It doesn't bother me, I'll say, as much as it has bothered some. But yeah, I think it's, listen, as I've said, Scream doesn't have a disaster yet. I didn't hate Scream 5 or 6. I enjoyed them enough. But for me, it's just more of the same. It's just another Scream movie. I have seen people watch the Scream 7 trailer and say things like, well, it looks kind of like, oh, I thought this doesn't really look any different. It kind of looks like Halloween 2018, or kind of like, it doesn't like, again, maybe the surprises are not there yet. It is Kevin Williamson. You're hoping for some big surprise. I will say this. I think this is the elephant in the room. This is the big question. And I've talked about this in the past, but this is the big question. So the big question becomes, we know that Stu is back. We know that Matthew Lillard is back, and everybody's excited about it. And for years, long before, he returned, people were, debating over the fact of whether he could, and the television and the weight of the TV and the distance and all that kind of stuff. And so now we know he's back. The question then becomes, how is he back? Because I think people need to temper expectations. We don't know, but I think it's important that you temper expectations and you be honest with yourselves. Now, I don't speak for everybody, but I think the vast majority of Scream fans who are very excited about Matthew Lillard's return as Stu are, even if they haven't said the quiet part out loud yet, I think they are excited. If they were to really kind of express themselves, they want him back. Back. Not in a flashback, not some AI, not some, however else they would do it, not in some recording he made before he died, or, no, they don't want that. There are so many Scream fans. I guarantee it. If you find out, how would you feel if you find out that, so he's back, but he's not like back. He's like, it's a flashback to Sydney's mom's funeral. You would feel gypped. You would feel disappointed. You would. Even though you have nothing. The studio, the trailers, Matthew Lillard, nobody has set up expectations that he's back. Nobody has said he's alive. Nobody said that. That's your own expectations hoping for that. Wow. How else would that? He's got to be alive. I just think, and maybe he is. Maybe at the end of the movie, it's going to be, the thing's going to come off and it's Stu. Oh my God, scars and all. And I found you, bitch. And maybe that's really going to happen. But I just think it's important that we don't ride or die on that, because there's so many different ways within the Scream DNA, because it likes to poke fun at current stuff, you know what I mean? Using pop culture and what's current to help drive narratives, whether that's what horror movies are like now, or, they talked about requels and sequels, and on all that, and bringing the requel. They like to tap into pop culture and use that as part of sort of the narrative beats of the story they're telling. So, AI is a really big thing right now. Deep fakes are a really big thing right now. I don't know if this movie is going to tap into that. Maybe it will be more of a traditional film, right? Which may not be a bad thing, but maybe it'll be more of a traditional film. But I think it's important that we temper, or I say we, I'm speaking for the hardcore Scream fans, like Frank Riker. There's so many different ways that you could bring Stu back, and it makes sense to the Scream DNA. Do you know what I mean? So if he ends up being AI, that totally makes sense. It's like, well, yeah, because that's what, it's huge right now. People are excited about it. People are scared about it. Look at all the AI shit. Some of the fucking shit is hilarious, by the way. But look at all the AI videos. People can't, there's so many people. Sometimes I'm like, really? 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 Like, there's AI videos, I love these, of people getting a chiropractic adjustment. They're like old people, right? And the guy's like, hey, you okay? Hang on one second. And they pick them up and like throw them into the walls and stuff like that. It's hilarious. Of course it's AI. But there's people that are like, is this AI? It's got to be AI, man. Of course it's AI! Anyways, the fact that people can't tell the difference, it's getting that, and those videos aside, it's getting scary, right? It's getting scary. So figuring out how to bring Stu back that honors his death, doesn't rewrite that and make that feel strange, but at the same time, deliver something new and interesting where, is it Stu? Well, it is, for all intents and purposes, but it's like this or it's like that. That is absolutely within the Scream DNA to focus on topical things like that and use it within the horror scope of their story. But that's not what you want. That's not what you want. And you know that. When you heard that Matthew Lillard was coming back, you weren't thinking, yeah, I don't fucking care how he comes back. Just good to see him. No, because there's going to be like, oh, he's back, but he's AI. Oh, so he's not really back. It's not the real Matthew Lillard. It doesn't feel real enough. It doesn't feel like tangible enough. It doesn't feel real. And fair enough. But be prepared for that potentiality, because this is Scream, right? This isn't Friday the 13th. If this was just like more of a linear kind of, I'd be like, yeah, he's probably really back and he survived the TV fall. But with Kevin Williamson, directing, I know he didn't specifically write, but I have no doubt that once he came on as a director, he had a say. Maybe it wouldn't surprise me if by the time this thing is done, he does get a writing credit or a story credit. He certainly has a hand in it somewhere. So we'll see. We'll see. I am somebody that, do I think look, I'm ready to be proven wrong. But I still stand by, I don't want him. I didn't even want him back because I feel that it undermines his death in a lot of ways. And look, are there ways that you can bring him back and justify it and do this and that and this and that? And blah, 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 blah. Sure. But you walk that fine line of desperation. We don't know what else to do. Let's bring Stu back. You run that. Look what they did with Skeet, right? It was inventive. It was cool. But they did that because they were like, is there a way we could bring Billy back? Now, why? Well, hang on. His daughter. Yeah, so it was his daughter. There's lineage. Maybe the psychological, maybe it's like a hereditary thing. And she's got like, and then she's having like dreams or like premonitions, or maybe she's having thoughts of him, and then we could hire him and bring him back, and we could visually show those thoughts, and therefore he's back. He's not back, but he's back. He's not actually back, but he's back. And then that's really cool, and that gets him in the movie, and that'll get fans of the theater. Yeah, it's the same kind of thing. Right? I mean, because you couldn't literally bring him back because he was shot in the head. Stu's a bit different. I understand that he wasn't shot in the head. I get it. But also you have to remember that Stu's not the only one that's coming back, right? You've got Roman that's coming back, and he was shot in the head. You've got Dewey that's coming back, and he was pretty much dead. And so if it was just Stu, I'd be like, But the fact that it's Stu and others that are clearly dead, are they all going to be used in the same way? Are the returns all going to be used in the same way? Artificial intelligence, right? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe Stu is actually alive, but then how are they using Dewey and Roman? Like how are they back? Because it just feels like they're bringing, I don't know. Do you know what I mean? It feels kind of like maybe they're all going to be brought back in the same way. So anyways, I'm somebody that I'm not like Team Stu. I want him back. I like the fact that they died. I like the fact that he died. I don't like the fact that he's been on again, it's nostalgia. I get it. It's like, it's going to get people in the theaters. But once you start hitting that layer within a franchise, you have to be careful, because where do you go after that, right? Is this I might be okay with it if the entertainment industry was different and there actually were beginning, middles, and ends, and these franchises just didn't go on and on and on and on and on because they make money and they never really end. They just kind of die. Then I would say, hey, hold off on Stu, bring him back for the finale. It's the final Scream movie that you will ever make. And then there's a finality to it. It feels more full circle. But if Stu comes back literally alive in this one and dies, and then you go on again, you've peaked. You've peaked, right? So either Stu becomes the big baddie from here on out, or this is your last film. Because I feel like that's like epic peakness. That's epic. That's epic peakness. If he's actually alive and he's been pulling the strings the whole time, or maybe he hasn't, he's just, I don't know, but he's actually back. He's not AI. He's actually back. This is like peaking, isn't it? Where else do you go from here? They brought Billy back in the best way they could because he was dead. You're peaking here. Unless Scream 7 ends on a cliffhanger, which is what I've always wanted, and they extend the story over 7 and 8, and that, but if Stu is back, every Ghostface dies, right? There's always that moment. There's the Scooby-Doo moment at the very end when they take off the mask and it's the big reveal, and they take 10 minutes to tell you why they're so evil, and then there's the big showdown and they die, and then, is that going to happen here with Stu? Because if it ends, where does Scream go? You got Barrera and Ortega apparently are not coming back. How much more can you do? How much shit is Cindy going to put herself in? So you're, in this movie, you're potentially telling the Sydney daughter dynamic, right? Oh, my daughter's in danger. I got to go save her. That's an angle that's now being told. Right? It totally makes sense that you would head that, that way, but now we're doing that. And we're also potentially, although we don't know, potentially literally bringing Stu back. Those are big things you are telling in one movie here. If you tell it all in this, where does Scream go? You've peaked. The daughter, mother, Stu back. Where do you go? What's there left to tell? You just tell a different story with Ghostface? So it will be interesting to see. It will be interesting to see where this goes. Listen, folks, my name's Dave McRae. If you're watching after the fact, jump into the comment section and let me know your thoughts on the Scream 7 trailer. Scream 7 coming out in February. 30 years since the original Scream was released. Well, not quite, but, it was released in December of 96, but it's the 30th year anniversary nonetheless, which is pretty darn cool. And we'll see how it goes. And we'll see what future marketing materials reveal. Maybe we'll get a better insight into, what this movie's going to be about. I don't know. But those are my thoughts having watched the trailer. Let's jump over to the chat room and see what all you are saying right now. So now's the time to get in your member chats. If you're a member, to get in your super chats. And let's ask some questions. Here we go. We got Josh McKenna sends in $1.99. Thank you, Josh, and says, on a scale of 1 to 10, how excited is Frank for Scream? I think it's a 10. Davey Deathray sends in a member chat. Thank you, Davey. Says, writing an alive Stu back into the script is an incredibly difficult task. How do they do that without alienating a bunch of the fans? Stu is dead. Well, it's a good question, Davey. Although, by all accounts, there's people like me, and I think you're one that isn't particularly on board with that. But there's a lot of Scream fans. At least they're very loud. Maybe there's not a lot of them, I don't know, but they're at the very least very loud Scream fans that are uber excited about Stu coming back, have wanted this to happen, and are really hoping that he's back. And that's why I say let's temper your expectations, because let's be honest with yourselves. You don't just want him in the back. You want him alive, like actually alive in real time. Like he survived the television. That's what you're talking about. Well, let's be prepared that may not be the story being told here. It could be a completely different thing. And you have to be prepared for that. And you can't be angry or pissed off at Spyglass or Kevin Williamson or the studio or the movie for that, if that is what it is, because nobody promised you anything else. They just said Matthew Lillard is back and that's it. So don't bitch and moan and complain if you don't get what you want, because nobody promised you that he was going to be back. And he could very well be. And if he is back alive, I am very curious to see how they are going to justify that, to your point. Josh McKenna, another $1.99. Thank you, Josh. And says, hopefully no one spoils it online. Oh, yeah. Oh, God. Yeah, that's... I made a social media post about that today. And some people got their knickers in a twist over it because they thought I was making fun of them, because they are of a particular generation. I am not. It's not personal. I am not lumping everybody in. I use the phrase, the TikTok generation, because that's what you hear it commonly referred to. It just means usually people probably in their late teens, early 20s. And there are specific people online that are, and these aren't trolls. These are, people that are serious about this, but I think because they're young and naive, they don't understand what they've just said is counterproductive to what they actually mean. And so, they are boycotting Scream. They want to spoil the movie for others. There are people saying that, I'm going to go see the movie on opening night or that Thursday night, and then I'm going to spoil it all. And because they're angry at Spyglass over the Melissa Barrera situation and all that kind of stuff, and, whatever the case is, fine. You're allowed to be pissed off about that. That's entirely up to you. But it's ironic that you would pay for the movie, or maybe you won't. Maybe your friend will pay for it. I don't know. But it's ironic that you'll pay for the movie. You'll give the studio money, that the same studio you're angry at, just to watch it and spoil the film. And listen, I'm not saying everybody young, everybody, of that generation is stupid. And I'm not saying that. But there are certain people that don't know their ass from their elbow and shoot from the hip from an emotional place rather than an informed place. And to be fair, it happens in every generation, my generation as well, the generation above me, the generation above them. It happens with everybody. But it's magnified in the younger generation because it is the younger generation that this world is marketed to. Online and social media and TikTok and Instagram and all this stuff. Yes, I'm not on TikTok. I'm on Instagram, of course, and a lot of people my age and older are. But the social media, the world of the internet and social media is not marketed, or it's not for people like me. It's for people who are 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 20. That's who it's marketed towards. That's the biggest. And so, you know, you see a lot of that generation is very loud. And to be fair, there's people of that ilk and that generation that are wise beyond their years, that are smart, that are intelligent and aren't like that. Of course. I'm speaking generally, right? I'm speaking generally. And it is generally speaking, it is that generation that gets, whether it's the Snyderverse or whether it's this or whatever, because they spend all their time online, because they don't have wives or husbands. Let's be fair, it's usually dudes, but they don't have wives or husbands. They don't have children. They don't have other responsibilities. They don't have bills and mortgages and T-ball and back pain. And, you know, people of my, they're not, first of all, we didn't grow up that way, but we're not, I mean, we're not getting online going, like, we don't have time for that nonsense. But this is just life. This is the Matrix. This is the Oasis, right? You know, you look at Ready Player One. I mean, they're just, there we go. Sorry about that. I hit the wrong button. They're like this all the time, right? They're tapped in and connected all the time. And so they tend to be the loudest and the most ill-informed on the nuances of situations. And so my post today was about that. And are there people that are boycotting that are not stupid and understanding that, you know, if I pay for the movie, I'm doing, of course. But here's the thing. No matter what your thoughts are on Melissa Barrera's comments, if you're pissed off they let her go, it's fine. There's a debate to be had there. There is a debate to be had. There's a debate to be had. But let's not straw man the argument, okay? Let's not, implement logical fallacies and start talking about so many other things. We're talking about the boycott of Scream. And the boycott of Scream is because of Melissa Barrera, not her firing, because she wasn't fired. They just didn't bring her back. And that's fine. You're allowed to be upset about that. You're allowed to be pissed off about that. And you're allowed to express your anger online. The problem with online anger, the problem with online outrage is that it is mostly performative. Many of these people don't know what the hell they're talking about and couldn't dive into the nuances of a very complicated, and I'm not saying I can. I'm just saying most of these people cannot dive into the nuances of a very complicated situation. They don't know how studios work. They don't know how movies are made. They don't know, the intricate workings of negotiations and contracts and SAG-AFTRA and guilds, and they don't understand any of that. And in a post I made the other day, I was talking about how, do you need to understand that to have an opinion? No. Do you need to understand how movies are made to critique movies? No, of course not. But understanding how the business works helps your review or critique move beyond, I just don't like that. Because then you can say, you know what? I understand why they actually did that. I understand why this was done and how they did that and this, that. And you know what? Here's my thoughts on maybe why you could do this instead and it might have been better. That's why if you're going to talk about something, you should at least know the business for what you're talking about. And so, no, you don't need to know how movies are made or to have made a movie to give your opinion. Of course not. That's just stupid. Of course not. But it's equally stupid to completely negate and equally short-sighted to suggest that having that information is completely unnecessary and of no value into making you a wiser critic, a more informed pundit, or a more informed person on the issues for which you speak. because it will. And I don't say that, again, I hope I'm not coming across as pretentious or condescending. I'm not talking about anybody specific. I'm just talking about the general noise that I see online. And that's true. That is true. I'm not talking about anybody specific at all. It's just the noise that I see, whether it's Twitter or Facebook, and I just read these comments. I was like, what the fuck? And I'm not saying I'm the world's foremost expert on this either. But I just think that the noise that you hear from a specific generation is usually just performative. It's manufactured outrage. Now, they really feel that way, but they use social media to blow off steam. And you know what? All the people saying that they're going to boycott Scream 7 are probably going to go watch it anyway, because that's usually how it works. But here's the thing. If you are serious about, for whatever reason, you are genuinely pissed off, you are serious, it pisses you off, I don't think what they did was right. Nope, I'm pissed off. What do you need to do? You don't need to jump online. You don't need to ruin it for other people. How dare you? How dare you ruin something for me? Fuck you. You're not supposed to do that. If you want to take a stance, then you take a stance. You don't go watch the movie. It's as simple as that. Don't go watch it. Don't pay for it. Don't go watch it. But then you might find a sneak around. Well, you know what? My buddy's going to pay for it. And I feel okay with that because my buddy's paying for it and I'm not paying for it. So I'm still watching the movie, but they're not getting my dollars. Still kind of hypocritical. It's still hypocritical. If you are dead serious about this, you wouldn't pay for it and you wouldn't watch it ever. And you know what? I respect that. I respect that. 100%. I'm like, wow, you got to respect that, right? Don't you though? Like, you have to respect that. They're not going to pay for it. Their buddy's like, well, dude, I'll pay for it. You can come watch it with me. They're like, nope, that's not going to happen. They'll go. But I would respect that. What I don't respect is ruining it for other people. Whether it's opening night, whether it's bootlegged. What are you doing? What are you? 17? Yeah, probably. And that's my point, right? It's not that there aren't idiots of all age groups and of all generations. There are. There are idiots everywhere. But the loudest, most ill-informed, especially in the movie sphere, seem to come from a certain generation. And I don't mean any disrespect by it, but if you are serious about boycotting the movie, that is your right to do it. You have your reasons for it. Awesome stuff. Good for you. But you do not have the right to ruin it for others. That's not your right to do that. That's petty and, kind of shitty. Just take a stand. Take a stand. Put your money where your mouth is, or not your money, I guess. Put your words, walk the walk. Don't go watch it. Don't go watch it. That's simple. That's simple. All right. Thank you, Josh. Appreciate that. And again, if you're just tuning in or if you're new to my channel, I hope I didn't come across as pretentious or condescending. I'm not, I can, be passionate, right? I would like to think I'm very balanced and fair in my assessments when I see things that grind my gears. Let me see here. Templar's Creed sends in a very generous super chat of 20 pounds. Thanks, buddy. Says, I'm looking forward to this. Love the twist, so I'm happy to see how they spin again. I think it would be cool if they used AI, like you said, for all other killers, and the fans think Stu is also AI, but he's real in the reveal. Ooh, that's not a bad idea. Yeah. Not a bad idea. But again, you have to figure out, and wouldn't that might actually be a very interesting cliffhanger. So through the whole movie, you know that Roman is AI, you know that Dewey is AI, anybody else they brought back is AI, and then Stu is there, and you think Stu is AI, but then the cliffhanger ending is the mask comes off, and he isn't AI. And that's actually a really insightful insight, because here's the thing. We know that's you might be onto something. It still doesn't, you still have to be able to justify how that's possible. But here's why it's an interesting take. Because when Stu was announced, many of us, and I'm sure, or me and many of us, let me try that again. Myself, and I'm sure many of you, that's what I'm trying to say, thought that, it's too bad they didn't leave this for a surprise, like in the trailer or in the movie. And they likely didn't, because it would have been a very difficult thing to keep under wraps. It probably would have leaked anyway, or the hint of it might have been out there. And so they thought, well, let's get ahead of the curve and let's just make the announcement. But we don't know how he's being used. And what a great misdirect in, you bring Roman back and Dewey back, and it's used as AI, right? You bring Stu back, he's AI, or you think he's AI, right? And that's how the movie plays out. You're going along and you're like, okay, whatever, it's good, it's fine, whatever. But then at the very end, the mask comes off and he's actually alive. What a great reveal. And you still get the moment of surprise of, oh, it's Stu. Oh my God, you still get the reveal that you would have gotten had you kept him under wraps altogether. So it's an interesting take. And something that I could see them doing. Now, the only thing I would say is, if they're going to do that, I hope that it doesn't happen, or I hope then it's not just all part of the third act and there's a fight and he dies. I hope it's kind of like the cliffhanger reveal. It's the, oh my God, and for the first time in Scream history, for the first time in horror history, for the first time in this franchise, there's a cliffhanger ending, and it ends on Stu's face just smiling at Sydney, with scars on his face or whatever. And it's like, what the fuck? Because you actually lead the audience into thinking, oh, he's back, but he's being used in this manner. Oh no, he's here. That's a fact. And you end it right there. And that gives you time, if you don't know how you're going to do it yet, it gives you time to write Scream 8. Maybe they're already ready to go to 8 now. I don't know. But even if you've already written it, it gives you that time. It gives fans something to think about, to linger on, to debate on, to go back and forth with, all that kind of stuff. That would be very interesting. I'm actually kind of now hoping maybe that's how they do it. But I still don't want him alive. It all comes down to the justification at the end of the day. If it is properly motivated, it is truly justified. And it's not one of those things for me where I'm like, well, I guess, sure. Nobody wants that. Even Scream, even Stu, even I Want Stu Back fans, you don't want him to be back and them pushing the envelope of what's believable, right? You don't want to be sitting there going, well, I guess that makes sense. You know what I mean? You want it to be like, oh, that's so good. Oh, that's so good. Okay. That's what you want, right? Can they do that? I don't know. But I like your thinking. Amaducia sends in a member chat. Thanks, buddy. And says, I've been politically active for 15 years. Boycotting Scream 7 and threatening to spoil the film isn't activism. It's childish. It does nothing to advance your political aims. 100%. It's not. And most of these people do not have a deep understanding of the geopolitical, issues. They really don't. They just see favorite actress said something which they happen to agree with, and she was, unfortunately not brought back because of that. So it's and that's within their right to be angry and upset and all that kind of stuff. But here's how most people know you don't know what you're talking about, is because you are, in fact, wanting to spoil it for others. If you actually knew the deep-seated issues, if you were mature and again, you're allowed to be like, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. Spyglass didn't bring, because of that, come on, man, that's bullshit. Like, why wasn't there just a conversation and, whatever, and just kind of let the fire die down, whatever. I mean, it's a hot tub, just that. Oh, that's well within their right to not bring her back. But I'm just saying it's bullshit. You could be like, it's bullshit. It's bullshit. Fair, totally fair. And you say, you know what? It's bullshit. I'm not going to go watch the movie. I'm not going to go watch the movie. That's fair. I'm never going to watch it. Really? Yeah, I'm never going to watch it. It's fair. It's totally fair. But spoiling it for others is about groupthink. It's about, I need you to feel what I feel because I need to be heard. I'm angry. I'm pissed off. I'm raging online, and there's people that agree, but I need to rage more. I need people to, come on. I need people, come on, everybody. That's not how it's done. That's not how it's done. And certainly not in this way. And I hope that, and again, it's not just that generation, but generally speaking, it tends to be. And so I hope that one day they realize the absurdity of that and the absurdity of manufactured online outrage anyway. It's not, and I'm not saying I'm old. I'm 46. I'll be 47 next year, but I'm old enough to come from a different generation where there was no internet, there was no social media. And it's not that I don't think you can express your anger online. It's just, it's the performative nature of it. That's what it is. And it's not genuine. It's phony. It's phony and it's performative. And there's a lot of that, unfortunately. And not just from, to be fair, not just from what they call the TikTok generation. That's not my phrase. It's out there already. But listen, if you're 17, if you're 18, if you're 22, if you're 25, I'm not talking about you specifically. I'm sure you're amazing. You're welcome here. I'm just speaking generally. But let's be honest. Every generation has got their idiots. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's people my age that you're just like, you're a fucking idiot. I'm just saying. I met people in their 40s and 50s and 60s, and you're like, you're just a fucking tool, man. You know what I'm saying? It's true. To be fair, it is true. All right, let me see here. Mendel Goodman, what's going on, Mendel? Excuse me. Hang on, Mendel. Oh no, you know what? I'll get to you. Who's the showrunners of this Scream trilogy? I don't know. You'd have to look it up. Cody Snyder, what's going on, Cody? I haven't seen you in a while. Says, whatever. I'll probably watch it, but this isn't my franchise. They should have stopped with Craven. But money. I'm somewhat in Camp Frank when it comes to Scream, Rikers Island. There you go. Yeah, I don't mind the Scream movies. I mean, I'm sort of indifferent to it. Like I've watched them all. Not nearly as much as Scream fans, of course, but I've seen them to know that the first one is my favorite. The rest are just kind of more of the same. A bit of diminishing returns. I know people really like 4. And they're Scream movies. I liked 5 enough. I liked 6 enough. I didn't love them, but I mean, they were, I don't think, and this is my opinion, of course, I don't think Scream 5 or 6 embarrassed the franchise. I mean, despite what you think of Scream 5 or 6, and maybe you hate them because it didn't focus on the OGs enough, fine. But listen, Scream 5 and Scream 6 ain't no Freddy's Dead. Okay? It ain't no Halloween Resurrection. All right? It's just, no screaming while the boss is in I'm just saying, So when I say I liked the Scream movies, I just simply mean that that I liked 5 and 6. I mean that they were Scream movies. Like I enjoyed them for what they were. Yeah. I didn't hate them, And I do think that, to be fair, for those of you that want Melissa Barrera to return, I understand it. She's hot right now. Again, I mean, in demand. I mean, she is attractive, of course, but I mean, she's in demand. Ortega is, God, I mean, she's all over the place. And it was cool. And I think a new generation also glommed onto them. It was a new people for a whole new generation. And so I do understand why you're upset. I do understand. But take solace in this. If you are of TikTok generation, okay, and you are mortified and pissed off that Barrera didn't come back, and you never know, maybe that's what Scream 8 will be or 9 will be. All of a sudden they'll be back. Who knows? But take solace in this and clip this out and send it to your friends if you need to. You're angry and you're pissed off. I get it. I totally get it. Because you were excited. You have an emotional attachment to those characters. I get it. I get it. You want to see what happens? I get it. I get it. Totally. Totally. But you got something, and my horror community will know this. I mean, the chat room, speak up. I mean, you've got my back here. You, at the very least, were able to get something that is very rare in slasher protagonist arcs. In horror movies, in slasher films, you got something. I know it was only 2 movies, and you were excited about them, but at the very least, you did get closure. You got closure. Now, you might be thinking, no, I didn't. What are you talking about? Well, you got to think about it. At the very end of Scream 6, Sam is holding on to her father's ghost face mask. And she makes a choice. She makes a choice. She can take it with her, or she can drop it and leave it behind. And what does she do? She drops it and leaves it and walks off into the distance with her sister. The symbolism around that, the cinematic language around that, is telling you she's free. She's not cured, but she's healed. She's healed. Or she's now in the process of healing, right? She did not take it with her. She left her past behind. Listen, could you tell more stories? Of course you could. But if they never do, if they never do, at the very least, you have closure that you can look at. She's free. She looked at that mask and said, no, I will not be like you. I am not you. I will not follow your path. You're done. And she walked off with her sister. And we can assume that her and her sister have now moved on, lived happily ever after, went to university. Her story is done. And so it may not be, because you're emotionally attached to them, you want to see more stories with them. I totally get that. But it's a lot better than a lot of the other horror shit we see, which is movies and stories just stopping. Arcs are incomplete. Stories are unfinished. We don't know what happened. That happens in streaming shows all the time, where a streaming show's not doing well, but you're really into it, and all of a sudden they just stop making it. Done. We don't know what happened. It's just, we don't know. We'll never know. We'll never know. That is not the case here in Scream 6. Now, whether that was their intention, was to do that and move on she was supposed to come back, so I guess that wasn't the intention. But at the very least, you can look at that ending and go, she's got closure. Folks, the symbolism around Barrera, around Sam, leaving her father's mask and not taking it with her is powerful. It's deep. She is leaving the past behind. She will not make the same mistakes. She is not her father. That's what that means. And she has left with her sister, walking off into the ether in New York. So many horror fans don't even get something like that. And it's not a death. It's not a death. She didn't die. It's actual closure with her being alive. Look at Jamie Lee Curtis in Resurrection. They had to kill her. I'll only come back, but only if you kill me. You don't want it to get to that point. You don't want it to get to the point where Barrera's like, listen, I'll only fucking come back, but you got to fucking kill my ass. You don't want to get it to that point, right? You want to think, you know what? She's out there, man. Sam and Tara are out there. They did what they had to do. She left it behind. She's now ready to heal. She was in therapy at the beginning of 6. Was it 6 or 5? I think it was 6, right? But it wasn't because she hadn't been through, she left it behind, man. So if you are of the generation or even just any fan that is losing your mind over this and wanting to spoil the movie for everybody, just take solace in that. Knowing that, well, at least there is an ending. Whether intentional or not, it works. It makes sense. It's absolutely 100% properly motivated. Her arc is complete. Whether it was intentional to end it there or not, it is closure. And so, there's that. I could understand a little bit more if it ended on a massive cliffhanger or something where it's like, what happened to Barrera? I don't know what's going on. And now they're just ignoring it. Well, yeah. What the fuck? But you literally got an Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade moment. In Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, they ride on horseback into the sunset. You got that. You got that. Her and Tara are walking off, and the mask is lying there in the foreground, symbolizing she's free. She's done. She's really beginning to heal now and rekindle and work on the relationship with her sister. Not rekindle, but work on it. So take solace in that, ladies and gentlemen. Take solace in that. From the Scream movie perspective. If you're just fucking angry that you felt she was wronged from a business perspective, well, that's a bit of a different story. Josh McKenna, what's going on, buddy? Sends in $9.99. Thank you, Josh. And says, I know you experience different accents in the UK. I have a challenge for you. Do an impression of every English accent. Can you do that as a voice actor? No, I can't do that, Josh. Accents are not my specialties. I can do caricatures, like it's like, like I can do all sorts of voices and characters, but to do an authentic English accent, no, I can't do that. I can't do that. Accents are not my specialties. I'd have to work with a dialect coach to really do it. And I'm not about to attempt to do it here because I wouldn't know what I was doing. So, yeah. Thank you, Josh. Appreciate that, though. Let me see here. Good show today, I think. I don't know. What do you guys think? Maybe not. Fauci Cinema, what's going on, Fauci? Says, think the killer will reveal and it won't be Stu, but no one notices another ghost face in the background or lurking and giving us the first ever cliffhanger in this franchise would be, which could be Stu. So you think it'll be that, but he'll be lurking in the background. Oh, maybe. You never know. Josh Stevens, what's going on? Says, the best would be Randy has been the string puller this whole time. He has motivation, obsessed with Sydney, means intelligent and knows horror theory, the author of Stab and Opportunity. Ooh. What do you guys think about that? Would you guys be okay if this whole time it was Randy pulling the strings? Now, there's been no, as far as I know, there's been no inclination that Jamie Kennedy is in it. But maybe he doesn't have to be. Maybe he'll be an 8. I don't know. How would you feel about that? You know, in some ways, it kind of makes better sense. In some ways, it makes, again, you'd have to justify it. You'd have to think about it. But it kind of makes more sense than Stu that it would be Randy, because Randy he's the horror guy. He's the horror guy. Do you know what I mean? It would be like, I don't know. Yeah, he's the horror guy. He's the horror guy. And so I don't know how you do it. I don't know what sort of story you could write with it, but that's not a bad idea, Josh. That's not a bad idea. I kind of like that one. Jamie Hart says, no! Let Randy rest in peace. Let Stu rest in peace. Aaron Click says, some people cite her relationship with her mother is reason for her story isn't over, but there aren't enough breadcrumbs there to make us think about movie. I think another movie with her story is necessary. I agree with that. And do we know who her mother is? I mean, was she ever introduced? Like, I don't think we know that we're missing anything. Was she introduced in 6? Was she in 6? I can't remember. Forgive me, maybe she was. But the real heart, the brass tacks of her arc was the potential psychological, effects, hereditary or not, the visions, the potential schizophrenia that was potentially happening with her. And she might have turned into her father. Now, you could always bring her back and make her Ghostface. That'd be interesting. But I think, I think, I don't know. And I've only seen 6 once. I don't remember her mother being in it, but I don't remember there enough meat on the bone there to justify. I don't think that should be the sole reason you bring her back. You know what I mean? So yeah, again, I mean, if you're pissed off, no matter how old you are, if you're pissed off that she wasn't, at least take solace that you actually have closure. That makes sense. You know what I mean? Because many of us horror fans never get that. So just be thankful. And you can always bring her back down the road. I mean, you never know, right? You never know. When cooler heads prevail, maybe she'll come back. You never know. Flick Symmetry, what's going on, Tim? Says, let's face it, it's Scream, the franchise where the only people that really die are those that die in crazy ways prior to the credits rolling. Yeah. Well, yeah, and I forget their names now, but the two characters that were in 5 and 6 are in the Scream 7 trailer. So, I mean, even though he should be dead, he was stabbed like 973,426 times. So he should be dead, but he's back. How they're going to be utilized, what are they just... I like that they show them, though, because although the events, I'm sure, even though we didn't see that here in this trailer, I'm sure the events of Scream, at least I hope so, the events of Scream 5 and 6 are at the very least acknowledged, right? Now, seeing those two characters is a form of acknowledgement, because who are those two characters and why would you be showing them, right? So that does tell us that they're not ignoring it. They're not that there was any inclination that they would, but I'm just saying they're being upfront about it. We're not ignoring 5 and 6, even though 5 and 6 at the moment feel a little standalone-y at the moment, just because of how everything went down. We're not pretending they don't exist. We are having characters that are connected to those two movies. Now, how big of a role will they play? I don't know. They weren't in the trailer a lot. The trailer focused heavily on the relationship between Sydney and her daughter, which I understand, but that doesn't mean that they won't be there. Maybe it's a cameo. maybe it's just they cut away and they're in New York and they see something on the news, and just a little bit to tell you that they are still aligned with those two films. And it keeps the door open as well. It keeps the door open where if cooler heads do prevail, maybe there is an olive branch, that is extended. Maybe discussions start to happen. And to wrap it up, like to just one big, maybe in Scream 8, it's everybody's in there. Barrera, Ortega, Nev Campbell. I mean, maybe everybody's in there. I don't know. And it's one big finale with everybody. And then Roger Jackson ends up being the voice. They take off the mask and it's him. Hello, it's me. I've been doing it the whole time. So I don't know. Aaron says, no, Sam's mother wasn't in any of the movies. Well, there you go. Then I don't think that she's mentioned, but that's not a strong enough beat, in my opinion, not a strong enough justification for her story to go on. The fact that she has, and this is why, the fact that she has dropped the mask and she is moving on tells you she is now going to begin the healing process. So we can now assume that through her walking off into the distance, that last crusade moment with her, I mean, it's not a sunset, but walking off into the distance, with her sister and her now are going to start to heal. And if she needs to heal with her mother, she will do that because she is now in a place where she can. She couldn't do that where she was in Scream 5. She couldn't do that where she was in Scream 6. But now she's in a place where she can begin the process. I'm not saying she's going to go to the, home and call up her mother, but I just mean now she's at a place where she can begin that process to heal. And we can assume that her mother would be a part of that. Right? And so that's not a strong enough reason to bring her back. I don't think the seeds, we don't need to see that. We don't need to see that. It's the symbolism of the mask being, in storytelling, folks, the symbolism of the mask being dropped and her walking away is so powerful. It might not feel like it because maybe you're looking at it more of but it is. It's really good writing. Really good writing because there's a lot of cinematic language and nuance in that final shot. To the point where you're like, I get it. I understand it. I understand what the filmmakers are communicating to me here. I get it. It doesn't mean you can't go on. I mean, we've seen that happen. It's like the end of Creed. I didn't think you needed to bring Rocky back. I thought the ending of Creed was great. But then he brought him back again. Excuse me. Not the end of Creed. The end of Rocky Balboa. Excuse me. No, the end of Creed. He's in the middle of cancer. So the ending of Rocky Balboa was amazing because, and I think it's better, not that the ending of Creed 2 isn't great when he goes home to his son, but I think the ending of Rocky Balboa is the quintessential best ending of the Rocky franchise. And why? Because Rocky is a boxing movie, sure, but it's not about boxing. You could have any sport in there. It's a love story. It's a drama. As Sylvester Stallone said, there's only about 7 or 8 minutes of fighting in the original Rocky, right? And so Rocky, whether it's 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever, it's about Rocky and Adrian. It's about their relationship, the love, the belief, the underdog. I'm here for you. I love you. I'm in your corner. That's the heart of the fucking story. And that's why when he did Rocky Balboa and Talia Shire was, I think that's her name, right? She was disappointed when he said, no, I've killed you off. She was so disappointed. She wasn't going to be able to come back and play her. But after she saw the movie, I saw an interview with him. She said, I get it. It was the right choice to make. Because it's about getting older and loving and losing and loss. And that's reality. That shit happens. We're all going to face that. And it brought so much heart. And Stallone's performance in Rocky Balboa was electric, was amazing. And at the very end of that movie, he didn't win, right? He didn't win. In Rocky, he didn't win. He went the distance, but he didn't win. In Rocky Balboa, he doesn't win either. But that wasn't the point. It's a full circle moment. And the very last shot, I remember being in the theater and I actually got a little choked up because I was really invested in this because I really loved how they were doing this. At the very end of the movie, I think he places the rose on her tombstone and says, "Yo, Adrian, we did it." It was all about him and Adrian. I'm not saying his son isn't important. I'm just saying, yes. And then the final shot of the Rocky franchise. I know Creed is, part of the franchise, but his story is him walking away from the tombstone, looking back and waving, and it just fades to black and rolls credits. Wow. And then he's brought back in Creed, and I'm like, and then, of course, Creed 2 has the moment where he goes back to his son. Okay, it works, but it's second best. It's not anywhere near as powerful, as emotional, and as meaningful to the character, to the arc, to the franchise, and to what the whole fucking story was all about. It's second best. It's, okay, here's your silver medal. Okay. And I'm glad he wasn't in 3. It's second best. And I'm not saying his performance in Creed, which he was nominated for Academy Award for, I'm not saying he wasn't great. He was great. And he was great in Creed 2. But that ending in Rocky, that ending of Rocky Balboa was the perfect ending. It's not that there wasn't value in the story that they were telling in Creed 2. I'm not saying there's no value there. I'm not saying it wasn't emotional and moving and it was great. But to me, it's second best. It's second best. And you don't want that to happen. So I know that's a bit of a long roundabout way of saying, and I'm not saying that the ending in Scream 6 is like the Rocky Balboa ending. There's not enough story. There's not enough history. There's not enough nostalgia. There's not enough weight there to have that same kind of emotional impact. But the principle is the same. She's done. Because in the short time that we lived with these characters, what was she struggling with? And now she's like, no, I'm done. It's over. It may not have been the intention to end it there, but if she never comes back and we never see Sam and Tara again, folks, it's okay. From a story perspective, from storytelling and character arcs, it works. You may not like it because you're a fan of the characters and you want to be with them again, but I'm looking at it from a filmmaking perspective. I'm like, it works. And maybe that wasn't the intention, but we dodged a bullet. Because how awful would it have been if it ended on a real note where it's like, what? But what about this? What about that? 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 There's none of that. And what about her mom? Yeah, she was mentioned. She was never seen. She's healing. She's going to be okay. She's going to reach out to her mom. It's great. It's perfect. Josh McKenna, $1.99. There's never been one like me, Gail. Who says that? There's never been one like... Oh, does Ghostface say that? I can't remember. KG sends in $2. Thoughts on Shelby Oaks? I have not seen it, but I've heard mixed reviews on it, but I have not seen it yet. SG Ullman 16 sends in $2, says, but Sam's mom is the Maureen Prescott of 5 and 6. Is she? I don't know. I'll let Scream fans argue about that. I have no idea. I know who you're talking about, but I don't know if she is. Is she? I'm not sure. Flinner says, David Andrew McRae, how are you, my friend? I don't know who David Andrew McRae is, but hopefully they're good. Phantom Rain says, Dave, will you be checking out Frankenstein? Yes, I will. Because I know a couple people that worked on it, and I know a couple actors who were in it. So, because it was shot here in Toronto. So I will be checking it out. Oliver Mercer says, yeah, I agree. They're regarding R&B. Creed 2 was solid also. I personally didn't get behind Creed 3 somehow. Just didn't have that punch, no pun intended. Oh, the Creed films are great. I mean, they were great, with, and all things considered, they managed to find a way to still make it emotional and moving. I like Creed 1 and 2. I have no issues there. I think it should have ended at Creed 2 because not only was Rocky's arc finished again, giving him a second best. Oh, the Balboa one is just so much better. But giving him that second best ending of going home to his son. Okay. But, what's his name? Adonis Creed? Adonis? His arc's over too. He's at the gravesite of his dad. It's done. It's done. He fought the son of the fighter that killed his father. I mean, his arc is done. So really, the Creed story is over at the end of Creed, if you think about it, right? And then you go on, and it's like, oh, now there's no Stallone, there's no Rocky, there's no. I think they were trying. I think they went on because they were trying to make. They were trying to cut the umbilical cord and figure out a way for the Creed franchise to live and breathe as its own thing. And I don't know if you can do that. And I don't know if that's the right thing to do. And I think Creed's story, Adonis Creed's story, ended at the end of 2. He avenged his father's death for all intents and purposes. And that's the end of his story. So there's value in stories ending, ladies and gentlemen. There's value in stories ending. Juan Rivera says, Dave, will you be reviewing, talking about it? Welcome to Dairy 2. Well, again, I don't do reviews. 2 episodes in, and I really think it has potential to be a great series like Stranger Things. I've yet to check it out, but I do want to check it out. Shout out to Lynn Griffin, who I heard was in episode 2. The series was shot up here in the Toronto area because I think they went back to Port Hope, which is just a little town outside of Toronto, which was Derry, Maine for the 2 films. So I think they, I know they shot up here. I know they did because I know, a couple of people that worked on it. So, but I haven't seen it yet. But it's on the list. It's on the list. All right, how are we here? A couple more minutes, and then we'll call it a day. A couple more minutes, and then we'll call it a day. Dave, what did you think about the likely spoiled kill in Scream 7 trailer? Was there a spoiled kill? I'm not sure. Don't spoil it. But I didn't recognize it. But always remember, trailers are edited out of sequence and out of order, so what you think might not actually be at all. So don't put any wagers on it. Let me scroll back here. Did I get all the super chats? Did I get all the member chats, super chats? I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything. Just want to make sure. I believe I did. Yes. Okay, looks like I did. I just want to make sure that I did, ladies and germs. Where are you? There you are. All right. Scroll back down. Aaron says, Dave, I think you'll like Shelby Oaks. I think I will too. For all its flaws, I thought it was really good. Seems right up your alley with all the mood and atmosphere. Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to checking it out. Because there are a few things in the trailer I was like, ooh, I kind of want to see how they do that. Let me see. I just want to make sure I'm not missing that. Yeah. Chester says if they killed off Gail again, she needs to say it's Gail Weathers signing off. I agree. At this point, I don't know if Courtney Cox is going to be killed. I don't know if Gail will ever be killed. She's survived 6 of these things. I don't know. I guess we'll have to see. But anyway, folks, listen, that's going to do it for this episode of McRae Live. I want to thank you for all tuning in. If you're watching after the fact, jump into the comment section. Let me know your thoughts on anything I had to say here today, but of course, more specifically, the main topic, the Scream 7 trailer. What did you think about it? Do you agree with me? Do you not agree with me? Jump into the comment section and let me know your thoughts there. Are you excited about it? What do you think of this Stu situation? How do you think he's coming back? Do you think he's going to literally be back? Do you think it's going to be some AI thing? Do you think it'll be like they're going to treat it like he's kind of AI, but then at the end of the movie, he's actually back. He takes off the mask and he's back. It's, oh my God, that's him. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, because I'd really let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, because I'd really like to know. There we go. Folks, have a great rest of your Thursday. Thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Thank you to my moderators for doing what you guys do, the super chats, the member chats. Really appreciate that as well. And I will talk to you all very, very soon with another episode of something. I don't know. There'll be something I'll be looking to talk about, and I'll jump on and talk about it. Have a great rest of your Thursday, folks, and I'll talk to you all soon. Alrighty. In the meantime and in between time, I will talk to you soon. Cheers.